Um, okay, so the next topic we have to talk about is education, but not in the sense of education for yourself and landing a job. This is more in the sense of if you're relocating with family, which I think about 70% of the people on this webinar are going to do or plan to do, and you have a child that you need to get into kindergarten, what really are the options? Do they have to go into a local school? Is there an international school? Do they have to learn the local language first? How easy or difficult could it be? So could you give us a kind of overview and introduction, first of all, into what are the options, and second of all, how easy or difficult that might be?
Of course. So the answer is always it depends. It highly depends on the age, of course.
Yeah.
I would say the most difficult age is probably 0 to 3, like 1 to 3, pretty much, because that is the kita, like the daycare, and it's notoriously known in Germany that also Germans struggle to get a spot, especially in cities, I would say. From 3 to 6, it's general kindergarten, where I would say 93% of Germans actually have the kids in kindergarten. It's half day. And from 6 onwards, there's actually a mandatory compulsory school attendance, meaning homeschooling is illegal and kids must attend school. Hence, also the cities kind of need to help newcomers to find schools. That help depends a little bit, of course, on the city, on the school, on also how much you're asking for it. But definitely it's from 6 till 15, 17, depends on how the patient needs to attend.
Yes, some things to add to that, for example, like I think a kid attending to kindergarten already, they're learning to speak generally. So I think learning German or having German knowledge is not so critical, versus when you start first grade in the real school, let's call it, there German becomes a bit more important. And again, to answer that question, it highly depends on the motivation of you when you're moving to Germany. Do you want to stay here for the long term? Do you want to stay here lifetime? Or do you just plan to stay here a couple of years? If you want to stay here a couple of years, an international school might be an option because they tend to give education in English and German, but German is not the main language, so the kid is able to integrate a lot easier. However, international schools are private schools and they need to be paid for, so that is another thing to consider in regards to the salary that you receive and the cost of living, of course, versus if you go to a public local school, it really depends on the school. We've done some research on it, and it highly depends really on the area, the amount of kids that speak the same foreign language, whether they will get extra classes for learning German. It highly depends. But every city usually has an integration center where they can assess the family or your family if you're moving here with kids in terms of what might be the best course for your kid to integrate better into the German school.
So I guess it's really down to what the parents are feeling as well. Will be, if they've got the option, they can afford both, what would be better? I can see how there would be some positives and some potential trade-offs in both of those options.
Absolutely.
And of course, just one last thing, of course, the younger the kid is, the faster it is for them to speak German. Of course, if they're going full time during the pandemic, that kind of shifted a little bit. But to some schools that we spoke, they said if the kid wants to, it highly depends on the kid's character and openness to it. If they want to, some young kids, from 6 to 8, they can easily in 6 months, pick it up. It's that fast if the kid is open to it.
Wow. Chloe, you look like you have something to add here.
So obviously you said that sometimes it can be quite difficult even for the Germans to get their kids into school. So if someone was relocating, would you advise them potentially looking at the schools around the area and maybe getting on a few waiting lists before relocating? Or would you advise to have a look when they're there?
School, every kid will get a school place because it's mandatory. What I said is difficult is a kita spot because until the age of 6, children do not have to be taken to daycare. They can also stay at home. So the age 1 to 3 is the most tough spot, I would say, to get. However, it's also not impossible. We actually had a chat with one of our viewers and readers who had a kid that's 1 year old and moved to Düsseldorf recently from Ecuador or Peru, And well, he just wrote to kita after kita after kita and actually got a spot. So it was totally possible. And what he did is he wrote his email in English, put it in Google Translate, and just sent the German version to literally the kitas in around the area where he found the job. And that's how he found the kita. So it's not impossible. It's just not going to be easy.